All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my review now for the series finale, the final episode, Season 8, Episode 6 for Game of Thrones. Okay, and major spoiler warning if you have not seen the series finale for Game of Thrones. It seems this is the 73rd episode of the series. It is Season 8, Episode 6, the final episode, the ending for Game of Thrones, called The Iron Throne, which I like the name. No problem with the name. I've done the rant video. If you guys didn't see my reaction video after just seeing it, I won't do any swearing in this video. All of my, emotions have been put into that reaction video. So I've calmed down a little bit. I got myself some chocolate milk, which helps me comfort for me, so I can do this review, even though I don't want to at all, because I loved Game of Thrones, man. I really did. I loved watching this show since 2011 for the last 9 years. I look forward to it every year, every spring or summer. I love to see it, and I just basically am at a point right now, I do not understand what the point was to rush to this conclusion, to rush to this ending, to decide that we were going to end the series at this point, and have these events take place after Cersei was basically defeated. So the episode is directed by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, who some fans are calling them Dumb and Dumber at this point. If you guys didn't hear that one, D&D, Dumb and Dumber. This one's really sad, man. It's really sad to see what they decided to do with our beloved characters. A lot of our series favorites going through that had a tremendous fan base for some of them just got, just really wrecked in these last couple of episodes. Everything was probably good right up to the last of the Starks, and then the Bells and the Iron Throne, everything just went to hell. I'm so disappointed in this ending. I really wish they could have I'd rather these episodes were never done. I'd rather they just ended it after the long night, and everybody made peace with each other. One more episode, Cersei and everybody get together, and they elect whoever, and if they elect Bran at that point, then fine, they do. I would have rather it ended a lot of different ways, a lot of different options than this, and I just felt like, particularly Jon having to kill Daenerys because she became mad, basically, or she really embraced what she was doing. She didn't see the error in her ways, and he saw that, and he decided Tyrion was right, and so he did what he had to do. It was all very fast. The last couple episodes, crazy fast. Character changes, right away, right? Daenerys going from where she was at Missandei, and then just Dracarys just destroying everything, killing everybody, 1 million people, or however many people it was. And then afterwards, not showing any mercy, and Jon deciding he had to do that. So that, for me, might be my least favorite scene I have ever seen. The two of them, they're there. It's tragic. Drogon's like breathing fire, and he's getting ready to roast Jon, and he decides not to, I guess. It's maybe he feels like he can't because Jon is Targaryen, so there's something preventing him from killing Jon, but then he flies off with her and everything. It's such a sad scene, man. It's so tragically sad and disappointing for me. You've got the throne. She finally gets, and, they make her basically the Mad Queen, so she goes into basically madness in order to get what she wants. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. She has good intentions, but she doesn't see the error in her ways, and she does absolutely anything to get the throne. So she finally gets the throne. Jon confronts her about, Grey Worm and the others killing people who have surrendered and just killing everyone, and she doesn't seem to think there's a problem with it at this point, or she doesn't see there to be, anything wrong with it, I guess. I don't know, man. It's really disappointing for me. I'm disappointed in how they used Daenerys in the end, and they tried to kind of explain it through. I think Tyrion was discussing afterwards about some of the times that she had flown off the handle and had punished her enemies with unrelenting madness. Right? She had just he brings up some of the ones over the series in the past, and how she handled them, and what she did, slavers and such like that, and her being the breaker of chains, and her liberating everybody, and it's it's very sad for me to see that through, and that will go down for me as really an awful scene to see. I don't ever want to watch it again. I just think that's a brutal scene for me, and just one that it's basically most of my problems in the ending can be wrapped up in that scene. Jon having to become the Queenslayer to kill her. It's so sad, man. It's not what I wanted to see and how I wanted the epicness that is Game of Thrones. Because there are moments in Game of Thrones that are so brilliant and so epic, and some amazing twists and turns throughout, going against what you'd expect to see. And they decided to do that here, I guess, with Jon and the others in the end, and not give us, just an ending that people would be happy with or that people would want to see. And it's just really, really sad after all the years we've watched the series for, everything we've seen, to see Jon have to, tell her he loves her and then stab her at the same time. It's like, oh man, so nasty. As a result of what she's doing, Grey Worm also has a feel, because before we feel sympathetic to them for Missandei and what Cersei was doing and everything, and now he's just like, Grey Worm is following her commands to the end, and he's just killing everybody, men on their knees. They're no threat to him. Jon's trying to get him to stop, and he won't. He turns the spears on him as the leader of the Unsullied. And so then we have the scene where Daenerys kind of comes out, right? She comes out and she sees everybody, and she gives them a nice vicious speech that just, you can hear the theme in the background just do it like. It's very clear if you're watching the show through and you're not sure that Daenerys is a villain here, because some people kind of followed her into that side and they thought, well, it made sense for what she did. Just listen to the theme music they use when she's, it's tyrannical, right? She's become a tyrant basically, and you have the theme they're going for. You can tell by the music the kind of theme that they're going for with each character. It just listen to the theme song, and you get an idea of what they're doing, what objectively they're trying to do with the characters. So when you have her kind of come out there, have this very intense type of theme, this basically solidifies her, turn that we've seen in the last couple episodes to become a full-on tyrannical leader type of villain here. That's just brutal to see. And then, so the Seven Kingdoms. Commander, Master of War with Grey Worm, right? So, and it just feels nasty because he's killing Lannister men that are no threat to anybody. They surrendered, they threw their swords down, and he's cutting their throats anyway. It's just brutal, right? And so Jon's trying to be like, well, what are we going to do here? What are we doing? And you have Arya that's in there too, and, him still being a Stark as well. And so then I know a killer when I see one. And we have Jon and Tyrion, because Tyrion basically, he throws down, and he's committed treason, I suppose, because he helped Jaime try to escape, and he finds their bodies, which is also a fucking brutal, just a brutal scene to see. And I'm not defending Cersei. Definitely was evil, and Jaime did a lot of things for her that are evil too. But it's still really sad to see that, and him getting thrown in a cell. And I guess in a way they gave us maybe a little bit of fan service in that they didn't have Grey Worm kill Tyrion. Tyrion actually did get to survive through till the end. So somehow Tyrion makes it through, right? And Jon makes it through, I guess, but he's cast, north of the Wall with Tormund, and it's not a happy ending. It's just a whatever ending. They go on. Ghost. He sees Ghost, which is I guess a happy scene there, but he just goes and whatever, and that's what it is. You've got Tyrion throwing the hand of the Queen emblem or that he was wearing, and so then you have kind of, there's a pretty good scene where he's talking about Varys and his ashes, and see, I told you. So that one's pretty good. Like I told you what would happen. Told you what would happen with her and everything. You've seen it before, and so when he's killed, they can kind of agree together. And or Varys told him so after even after. And so, okay, I believed in her, right? Love is the death of duty. Then we have the greatest threat now, right? Jon, I'm sorry it came to this, and then we just have basically go through the scene with Drogon sleeping and her and everything. The question of is it worth the cost as she's seeing the throne and she's going up to it, and there's just ash everywhere, and it's just gross and everything. And oh man, I just don't know. This is so sad to see this through here, and just kind of recap this with you guys and try to review this. She touches it. You have Jon. The question about mercy. How do you know what is good? Break the wheel together now and always. And, he loves her, but he's got to kill her because his duty comes before his love. I don't know. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. You can look into this. It's like, I just don't care, right? So I wrote down here, worst ending in history after that point because I was just so not liking this. Not what anyone wants, I wrote down. So then you have Tyrion and the Quiet and Grey Worm and then the Unsullied. Brings them out, and then you see the other people that are there that you don't really expect. You see the Starks, and you see, the powers that be at that time. After all, hell is broken loose, and Jon is now in a cell too. And man, this is crazy stuff. So I guess Drogon doesn't kill Jon, so I guess that's good. Jon continues onwards. Bran the Broken, and somehow they listen to Tyrion and his ideas, even though Grey Worm wants to string him up. And Grey Worm, I guess, is, he's a leader of an army, but he's not necessarily, wanting to be king himself or anything like that. That's not what he is. He was born and bred for war, but not for that type of thing. So he's kind of looking for who to lead them now. You get the discussion of that. Sansa and the others are there. They decide, okay, we're going with Bran, and Tyrion will be his hand, and he's going to fix the things that they broke together, I guess. Jon to the Night's Watch, bastards and broken things. Okay, great. It goes back to the beginning. Fine, whatever. And life sentence. Was it right what he did? I'm so dejected, man. I'm just going through this with you guys. I'm like, am I going to review each part of this? Then we get some stuff at the end here. Jon, Sansa, and the others. We get to see all the different weapons. We get to see them meeting at the table. Bran is now the king, I guess. And you have him talking about finding Drogon. Maybe he can warg into him or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. And we have Tyrion the Hand and being quiet. And then Bronn and the others coming in, which is, some comic relief when it's totally inappropriate to use it, in my opinion, after what we've just seen. And they arm up. Arya leaves to go exploring the edge of the world. And what? Jon and Ghost, Tormund, Sansa, Jon, north of the wall again. Back to where, I don't know, where things were closer to the beginning. Okay, so there's a recap of what the episode basically includes, of the parts that I can stomach even going through because I'm so disgusted with what they did here. I try, I want to look at the bright side of it. Okay, it's got democratic. It defeats the old who's in charge, who's the king, who's the queen, whatever. And then now there's a democracy, which is kind of like, more like modern politics than what we have now, which I don't even really hardly believe in anyway. I think it's mostly a show, and, corporations and the people with the big money are really what make things happen anyway. But, I mean, it's, that's the ending for Game of Thrones, guys. That's it. That's basically what we got to see in the end. I just really felt like if they would have done something different and they would have had maybe the Night King, the Long Night, be the final battle and then had one more happy episode after where everybody just, kind of got together and celebrated their victory or still being alive, and there was very few of them alive. I would have been happier if Cersei had killed Daenerys somehow, and then Jon and the others had killed her, and then Jon decided he didn't want the throne and that he was going to go of his own accord to the Night's Watch again and be there because that's where he's happiest, and then Bran could rule anyway. I would have been happier if it would have been Daenerys being killed by Cersei or being killed by the Night King or being killed by somebody else, and Drogon too if you have to. And then it wouldn't have been so, because you had her be killed by, you had her go totally mad, and then you had her be killed by Jon. I was pretty sad by the way this whole thing wrapped up. So they went with one that basically nobody had really predicted, I guess, or nobody could have pretty much guessed what they were going to do. And okay, that's fine. I'm pretty saddened by the whole affair and the whole thing of wrapping it up in this way. Certainly wasn't the ending that I wanted, and it certainly is not. For me, is not a good cap off for the series. It really instills for me in the end that the series is all about shock. It's all about the swerve. It's all about going against what people expect and keeping it exciting in a way because no one knows what's going to happen, but not really going towards that nice story, going the other way towards just being very unpredictable and being very chaotic in the end, just chaos everywhere and everybody killing each other, and Grey Worms now is going to kill everybody, and he's even going to kill Jon and stuff because Jon's been captured by his men and the Starks don't have enough to fight, and just the whole thing, rattles down into chaos. And it almost feels like it would have been better had Cersei had just continued on, ruling and done whatever cruel stuff she did on a small level. You know what I mean? Because all those people would still be alive, and I don't know. Daenerys, because I understand they bring things up about Daenerys in this one to kind of bring it back to say, okay, she always had this little bit of madness in her, and now it's just come out the rest of the way. I always felt like with Daenerys, that the good side of her wanting to stop slavery and wanting to do all these things, I always felt like that good side of her there was enough to spare women and children. Even if she killed all the soldiers, fine. But you're going to spare the women and children, I would think. I wouldn't think you would annihilate them and burn the city to the ground when you don't need to. That's not a liberator. That's an annihilator, and that's different. But that's what they did with her. So I'm really sad. And I feel most sorry for Emilia Clarke, who had to play this character and, bite her tongue probably in the end and do these scenes when she probably didn't want to. And same with Jon. Same with Kit Harington and the people that had to do it, that probably cared about these characters. And there might be a time, probably, contractually they probably couldn't say no. But, officially is officially, and, maybe sometimes you got to go the unofficial approach and say, F you, I'm not doing it. Period. I'm not doing it. Period. Done. You know what I mean? No, I'm not doing it. But, again, lawsuits and stuff, and they got it all locked up, so not much they could do. But that's the way they wanted to end it. What's my review score for this finale? I'll give it a 1. I'll give it a 1 out of 10 because I feel like the only thing you could have done worse was had Cersei kill everybody and string them all up and then have the credits roll. The last scene, Arya and Jon hanging from a thing, or the mountain cuts their heads off and then the credits roll. That would have been a 0, right? Because absolutely nobody would have wanted that. But if the Night King had swept through and just killed everybody, I'd be very disappointed with that too. But at least I wouldn't feel so disgusted by the decisions made by Daenerys and by Jon and by Tyrion and the others, and how they just went all into just backstabbing each other and killing everybody, and then got to put her down because she's going to kill other people. And oh my God, what a vicious, nasty way to. But Bran will be here because he doesn't give a shit, and that's the answer to life: is just have somebody who doesn't give a rat's ass. You know what I mean? I don't know, and for power and all that other stuff, I don't know. It just really kind of makes me like, when you think about it, it really makes me think about the human condition and think like, for this story, the human condition in that world is kind of nasty. And you could say, well, maybe it is in real life too, and that's how power works and everything. I don't know. I tend to think that people have a bit of that there's more good in people than that, and that characters like Daenerys, in the way that I think of her as, almost no matter which side you're on, would not burn children, would not do it. Women and children would not do it. That's the way that I think of the character. You can think what you want, no problem. You know what I mean? But innocent civilian women and children, babies, kids, I don't think she would do it. Cersei, yeah, okay, Cersei, yeah, that's within her character. Joffrey, sure. Her, not in the way I think of the character. Not in the way I think of her. Anyway, very disappointed by the end of Game of Thrones, if you guys couldn't tell already. Really wish they would have done almost anything but what they did do. And it really makes me question if Game of Thrones just got lucky, with a great budget, and they did some things earlier on, and they kind of just got lucky that everything worked out and everybody loved the show. Because in the end, it really just felt like it was a bunch of nonsense, all thrown together crap that just anybody could really come up with, and just, okay, then we'll do this, and then this, and then, and blah, 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 and it'll be all a cluster F, and that's how it'll end off, by them voting someone in who's going to just be impartial and half dazed and half there. But he knows the past, so whatever, so he can make the right decision. So fine, okay, fine. But couldn't you have him voted in because Jon didn't want it and Cersei killed Daenerys, and that way everyone gets to save face, and they didn't all feel like they were vicious vultures trying to kill each other. Tyrion and protecting his sister and brother, and then Daenerys killing everybody, and then Jon, I gotta kill her because then she's gonna kill too many. That's not a good taste to leave in people's mouth at the end, man. It's just not. That's not the way. I don't think of people like that. I really don't. Anyway, I guess I'll stay here in my ignorance of thinking that people are generally good-hearted, and that sometimes shit goes to, shit hits the fan and people have to go to war and do stuff like that, but that, you know, generally people are good and that they try to help each other out and try to do what's best for one another and don't want to hurt each other. But the series is what it is, man. It's over now, so we can complain about how much we dislike it, but there's nothing you can do to change it. It's what it is. So that's how I felt about the ending, and I hope I'm not upsetting too many viewers by being totally straightforward with you guys. Personally, I'm having a good day. I cut the grass, did everything good, everything's going good, feeling good. I'm not sick or anything. I'm just, well, maybe I'm a little sick after seeing that, but I'm just very unhappy with the way it ended off and with what they did with the characters. That's the big thing. What they did with the characters that I liked. I'm fine with Tyrion for the most part and what happened to him in the end, and him being able to survive in that kind of way. But I just, my other favorites, they were just dragged through the mud, man. They were just decimated in these last couple episodes, and I thought more highly of them than that, and I'm really saddened by what they chose to do with these great characters, because they trashed them, man. They really trashed them. That's it for this video, guys. See you again soon. Let me know how you're feeling. Send me your questions for Q&A. How are you feeling in the end for Game of Thrones? What do you think, man? That's it for this one. See you guys again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.